My name's Katherine Aragon. I race a non-wing sprint car on dirt. It's a 360 cubic inch engine. It's about 600 horsepower. The chassis is a RSS. I've been racing around 11 years now. I started out in 600cc mini sprints and worked my way up into full-size sprint cars. And I've been in a sprint car since 2005. I basically grew up watching races every Saturday night as a kid. I grew up in a small town, Globe, Miami, Arizona, and we had a racetrack up there. And it was a special trip to come down to Phoenix and go to Manzanita Speedway. And we came pretty often as we could, and to come watch the sprint cars racing at Manzanita. So just growing up watching racing is how I got interested. And then when I was a kid, my dad raced a super modified at Globe Miami Speedway, and I remember going out and watching him. I also remember helping him put the car together and painting the numbers on his car, and so those are a few of my big memories of things to do with racing when I was a kid. As time went on, my dad was able to get his own sprint car, and then I was part of the pit crew, so that was really exciting. I was able to help and do some work on the car, and so that really got me hooked. And then I had the opportunity to just get in the car one night at practice at Manzanita. And I don't think I went very fast, but I got to take some hot laps, and from that point on I was hooked. I knew I wanted to have the opportunity to get into a race car whenever I could. My parents helped me buy a mini sprint. Actually, there was 2 mini sprints in the deal. They were both pretty old cars, but we were just starting out and had to make do with what we could. Went out on the first night to race, and my engine blew up. Blew a hole right in the block. So that was my first experience racing. Before I started racing though, I did a lot of practice laps just to make sure that I'd be ready to go, since I had never raced anything before in my life. My journey in the last 10, 11 years in racing has been pretty interesting. Being a female in a male-dominated sport can be challenging, but if you don't look at it as I'm different than everybody else, because once we all strap into the car and put our helmets on, you can't tell if it's a male or a female in the car. The journey has had a lot of ups and downs, that's for sure. In one of my first, it was probably my 5th or 6th race, I had a wreck at Manzanita Speedway and ended up flipping probably 10 or 11 times. I was coming around the corner and I felt the left rear corner start to come this way, and so that's the sensation that I remember, is that my body starts moving this way. Take me out of there in an ambulance, and I stayed overnight in the hospital. So while I was in the hospital, I ended up having a stroke due to the injuries that I sustained in the wreck, and I was paralyzed on the left side of my body. My poor family, they had to load up everything that was left and try to get the car home, or what was left of the car home, take the trailer home, and then get to the hospital. I suppose my mom probably rode in the ambulance to the hospital with me, I don't know. I was able to walk again within about a week, but my left arm was completely paralyzed, no motion, for about a month. And so it took a couple months, and then even after I got motion back, it was still pretty clumsy and pretty weak. So it took, gosh, probably a good 6 months. And so that wreck was in May, and then I was back in a car the following spring. So it was almost a full year before I could get back in a car. And it was not easy the first time I tried to get back in. I was pretty nervous, but I just knew that if I didn't do it, I would regret it the rest of my life. It took a lot of therapy and hard work to come back from that, but I knew that I couldn't quit at that point. I hadn't even raced a full season when that happened, so I wanted to have the opportunity to try to live out the rest of this dream that I had of being a race car driver. And so worked really hard, saved a lot of money, figured out how to buy another car, and so got back into the mini sprint with the help of my family and my husband and everybody who's supported me through this whole journey. I've had a lot of help. couldn't have done it without all the help that I've had from family, friends, business owners that I know. People have really been supportive. And I think part of it is due to the female in the male-dominated sport. People are very, very supportive and try to help and want to see us do well. Andy and I had really just started dating. We weren't that far into our relationship, so to know that he committed through all of that and supported me and helped me get through it is what's really... Even though we're getting close to the end of this journey of racing together, he supports me 110% and helps me get ready to go every week. He takes care of all the maintenance on the car and makes sure that I'm safe in the car and we're ready to go. So there's no way that I could do it without him, that's for sure. My favorite part is probably just the excitement of getting all the gear together and getting ready to strap into the car for the first time in the night and knowing that it's time to be out on the track and let's go. When I'm sitting and staging, waiting to get pushed off, my heart is beating so fast and I just try to control my breathing and bring it down, and then the push truck comes behind you and you start going and you flip that switch and then all of a sudden it just evens out. Just have confidence, don't give up, keep working hard, and eventually things will work out for you.